Hello, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the next in the EDIAQI webinar series. To begin with, let's go over some housekeeping rules. We're going to get started straight away as we have an action-packed timeline today. So firstly, audio and visuals, please turn off your camera and mute your microphone. If you wish to speak, please do indicate in the chat. Please ask a question at any point. We're going to collect a bank of questions so that we'll have a really lively discussion when we open up the questions to the audience. The webinar is being recorded. Your names won't be recorded there. Obviously, if you do not want to be recorded, please do not turn on your camera. And if you wish your question to be anonymous later on in the recording, just please indicate so. The presentations will be shared after the event has finished, so please do not worry, you'll receive the presentations. And yes, use the Q&A chat box for any questions that may be addressed live or during the Q&A session. Unanswered questions will receive a follow-up via email. So with that, I'd like to give you a bit of context. The Convention of the Rights of the Child enshrines the right to a healthy environment free of environmental pollution. It also enshrines the right to equal access to education. Yet research reveals that indoor pollutant levels in European schools often exceed WHO guidelines. Given that children spend approximately 900 hours per year in school settings, where they remain indoors for about 6 hours each day, this issue takes on added significance. And children are particularly vulnerable to the health threats posed by indoor pollutants due to their ongoing growth and development. Poor indoor air quality has been linked not only to negative health outcomes, but also to diminished cognitive focus and even possibly reduced school attendance. This presents a serious public health and educational challenge with potential consequences at the societal level. So how can we effectively measure the indoor air quality in schools with the health and cognitive implications implied? Furthermore, what measures are currently being taken in Europe to understand the issues of indoor air quality in schools? And what strategies and policies should be employed to improve indoor air quality throughout schools in Europe? In light of these questions, the Learn and EDIAQI projects, both members of the IDEAL cluster, have co-organized the Clearing the Air, the Educational Imperative for Healthy Indoor Air Quality in Schools webinar, the latest in the EDIAQI webinar series. Today, joining us for this critical discussion, we have Henry Burridge, Senior Lecturer in Fluid Mechanics at Imperial College London, representing the SAMHE project. Then we have Ernesto Alfaro-Moreno, Head of Nanosafety at International Iberian Nanotechnology Laboratory, representing the LEARN project. And finally, my colleague and friend, Jessica Fernandez-Aguera, Professor at the University of Seville, representing the EDIAQI project. And my name is Alex Burridge. I'm a research associate and project manager at the Lisbon Council, and I have the honor of moderating this high caliber panel today. So just to give you a quick run through of the agenda, we've done the introduction and we're doing the agenda right now. Then we're going to look at firstly Henry and empowering UK schools through real-time IAQ monitoring from the SAMHE project with Henry, enhancing health, cognitive well-being and environmental health in schools with the LEARN project, which will be Ernesto. And then from 10:45 to 10:50, we'll look at reading IAQ knowledge into classrooms through trainings and educational material with the EDIAQI project and my colleague and friend, Jessica. And finally, we'll head to the panel discussion and then questions from the audience. That's enough for me for now. And I would like to give the floor to Henry. Henry, the floor is yours.
Hi there, thank you. Can we have the next slide, please? So yeah, I'm here to talk about the SAMHE initiative. Next slide. And the SAMHE initiative stands for Schools Air Quality Monitoring for Health and Education. It's a research initiative set up to work with schools to improve both their understanding and the scientific understanding of indoor air quality in schools. And it does this by any school that joins SAMHE receives a high-spec air quality monitor, which they can then connect to their Wi-Fi. And then we also provide them, we've built a bespoke SAMHE web app which all teachers and pupils get access to, and they can see their data in real time, and they can do all sorts of activities connected to air quality, and actually lots of other sort of activities connected to science and the wider curriculum. So we started about 2 years ago, and the initiative, we finished the phase where schools can join currently. So we're not recruiting further schools at the moment, but we'll be gathering data and hosting the web app provision ongoing, at least guaranteed until 2030 at the moment. Next slide, please. So the process works that the schools sign up through or signed up through an online form, and then they received a monitor in the post, and we've they then connect the web app, the monitor, to their internet, and then we provide them access to our web app, which gives them lots of things to do, either as pupils alone or as teachers out of interest, or sort of school management staff out of interest about the school environment, or as classes. But all of the time, everything that they're doing within the web app is sending us data, and that, alongside the indoor air quality measurements, can enrich the insights that we gain. So, for example, one of the activities is describe the room that the monitor is currently in. Next slide, please. So the monitors give us measurements every minute of carbon dioxide, temperature, relative humidity, particulate matter, and TVOCs. Next slide, please. And as of now, we've recruited more than 1,300 schools across the UK and deployed monitors to each of these. We get data from about 800 of these monitors in schools. All of the sort of web app provision to schools has been co-designed with the schools so that it really meets teachers and pupils' needs. And there's a array of different sort of interactive visualizations and activities, and we're a very collaborative project. So if people are interested in seeing how those look and how they might use them in similar tools, we're open to discussion. Scientifically, so far we've been collecting data since about September, but we've already been able to quite rigorously show distributions of ventilation rates in classrooms, and show that those drastically alter in cold weather, so that cold weather is still providing a real barrier to good ventilation in UK schools. And we've really got some pioneering data at a national scale on particulate matter, showing that outdoor pollution has a very drastic impact on classroom level pollution across the nation. And that's it from me.
Thank you very much, Henry. I'm going to give everybody a little bit of a chance, because you have this very nice slide here with a QR code. I was really impressed actually with the number of schools. I didn't realize it was so dynamic as well. And I really liked the point on the debate between ventilation and insulation, which is something obviously in the commission they're talking about very much at the moment. And with that, thank you very much. We'll have some questions, I'm sure, for you, and definitely during the panel discussion. And next, we're heading to Ernesto from the LEARN project and the Iberian Nanotechnology Laboratory. The floor is yours, Ernesto.
Thank you very much, Alex. So, as Alex told, I am representing the project LEARN. The full title is Development of Novel Assessment for Indoor Air Quality Monitoring and Impact on Children's Health. So it's a very ambitious project, as all of the projects of the IDL cluster. And first thing I would like to tell is why we are interested in evaluating children. So next slide, please. So as you can see here, the effects of bad air quality has an impact in everyone. So here in this slide, you can see that there are a number of things that has been identified in different group ages. But why we are so interested in children? Well, because most of the effects that we have been studying in the last 30, 40 years are acute effects. And the problem is what happens when you have exposure to things that may have an effect in the long term. So you have here what happens with brain development, with cognition activities, triggering early stage of diseases like asthma, bronchitis, and maybe cancer in a very long term. So that's why we are very interested in children. Next, please. And we are also interested in evaluating this in different countries because, as you can see in this image, despite the classrooms may look similar, you can identify a number of things that are different. The way the classroom is ventilated, the kind of floor, the chairs. If you grab the chair and you waste the floor by pulling the chair, or it has wheels and so on. So it's very important to have different schools and from different countries in order to compare things. So next slide, please. So at Learn, we aim to evaluate the air quality in the classrooms, but also to have knowledge of the air quality outside and try to evaluate if there is an impact from the outside indoor. And we have also a strategy to clean the air. And in order to evaluate the impact on the children, we are going to measure cognition, but also we are going to do toxicological tests using in vitro systems. Next, please. So far, we are running studies in Belgium. We aim to measure the impact of indoor air quality in classrooms in Belgium, in Denmark, and in Greece. So far, we are doing this in Belgium. You can see here in a classroom a number of children with a computer where they are answering questions to measure cognition. So we are going to do this in classrooms that the air is not ventilated. So on the side, you can see the machine that we are using for ventilation to clean the air. In some places, it's a sham, so they don't have a ventilation, and in some they do. So we will compare what is the ability of the children in both cases, and then we will come back, switch the cases, and retest and see if there is an impact, and in many biomarkers. I will present just some results very briefly. Next slide, please. So we are using many different in vitro models to evaluate the potential toxicity. I will show just one using a very tiny worm. It's a microscopic worm called C. elegans. And we are exposing this worm to air pollutants, and we are testing the mobility. You can see here in what says control, you can see the high mobility of the animal. And when you start exposing to particles, you can see how the mobility decreases. And in another case, next slide, please, you can see here how these green dots you can see in the animal, how they start to disappear as you aggregate particles. This meaning the generation of the neurons of the animal. So don't be alarmed. This was a test with diesel, not with the air pollutants in the classroom. But this is a very good tool to evaluate this. Next slide, please. And that's it for my side. Thank you very much.
Very interesting. I did not know you were working with worms. That's a very interesting. I'm going to have to do some research afterwards now on that. Very curious about that. There'll be some more questions for you. And thank you very much, Ernesto, for your very succinct and concise intervention there. And now next we have my dear friend and colleague, Jessica. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here today to discuss a vital topic for the well-being and learning in our schools, indoor air quality. My presentation is entitled Briefing Indoor Air Quality Knowledge into Classroom with EDIAQI. Next, please. We have already discussed the impact of air quality and how various parameters can be measured. With the EDIAQI project, one of our fundamental objectives is to design learning material that allows children to understand from the early age what air quality is, what these main pollutants are, how it affects health, and the possible solutions we can implement. These initiatives aims to empower students through comprehensive education about air quality we breathe. Imagine a future where our daily practice led to greater awareness of activities that contribute to pollution and better management of our actions, both indoor and outdoors, resulting in reduce the use of harmful substances and the elimination of detrimental practice. For example, students and teachers will become more aware of the importance of avoiding the use of cleaning or personal hygiene products with high levels or harmful chemicals, and making reasonable use of transportation where significant contributes to air pollution. Likewise, space become cleaner and safer to increase the awareness of air qualities. This drives more frequent and efficient cleaning and maintenance, reducing the accumulation of dust and other contaminants in the school environment. With a deep understanding on the importance of ventilation, both students and teachers adopt better habits, such as regularly opening windows when conditions allow, or ensuring mechanical equipment, filters, and appropriate air purifiers to ensure a constant flow of clean air. The preference for eco-friendly products and practice increase promoting healthier and more sustainable environments for everyone. Additionally, to improve air quality in cities, the use of public transportations and the adoption of alternative modes of transport, such as cycling or walking, are promoted to reducing vehicle emissions, green zones and urban gardens, and encourage not only improving air quality by absorbing carbon dioxide and suspended dust, but also providing healthy recreational spaces for the community and reducing the urban temperatures and mitigating the heat island effect. We firmly believe that knowledge has the power to change the world. By educating our children about air quality, we are not only informing future generations, but also empowering the population from an early age. When children acquire this knowledge, they pass it on their parents and communities to shaping the futures. This process of information dissemination is crucial, as knowledge can transform our daily practices. To achieve this, we have created a series of materials. First, an educational booklets. We have developed a series of booklets designed for each educational levels, from primary to secondary education. These booklets clearly and accessible explain what air quality is, what the main pollutants are, such as carbon dioxide, volatile organic compounds, particulate matters, and students progress in their education. The booklets increase in depth and complexity, ensuring they are always learning and challenging themselves. Second, educational videos complementing the booklets. We offer a series of videos that visually and engagingly explain key concepts about air quality. These videos are especially useful for capturing the attention of younger students and helping to visualize different concepts that may be difficult to understand. This is a short extract of the video.
Fires or volcanic eruptions. A small portion of the pollution comes from sources of natural origin, such as gases produced by forest fires or volcanic eruptions. We can't control these events. However, it's the pollutants produced by artificial sources, meaning those generated by us humans, that are responsible for the majority of pollution. Well, now that we know how outdoor air gets polluted, Now you'll probably wonder, how does indoor air get contaminated?
I don't know the problem. Third, teacher guides. To support teachers in implementing these materials, we have created detailed guides that explain how to use the booklets and videos in the classroom. This guide includes more detailed data or indoor air quality, suggests activities and pedagogical strategies to facilitate learning. Our goal is to empower teachers to feel comfortable and prepared to teach these crucial topics. Fourth, practical activities. We believe the best way to learn is by doing. Therefore, EDIAQI includes practical activities that allow students to apply that they have learned. One of the most enriching activities is building a HEPA filter. This activity not only teaches students about air filtration technology, but also provides hands-on experience in problem solving, teamwork, and visualizing the air pollution through the filter's captures. Fifth, participation certificate. We want to recognize the efforts and commitment of our students. Complementing the air quality program, each student receives a participation certificate that serves to motivate them and show their families, sparking interest in what they have learned. The implementation of EDIAQI materials in educational setting is carried out flexibility and adaptability. These resources are designed to be integrated modularly into existing subjects such as science, health education, and environmental studies. This way, teachers can incorporate these modules into their regular curriculum or use them on special tasks during key events like Environmental Day. All this material will be accessible free from the EDIAQI website. Knowledge is power, and with this power, we can build a better world. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. I mean, it makes me very proud to see all the work that we're doing in EDIAQI. I know a lot of work has been put into this, so it's really amazing to demonstrate, and thank you so much for your great intervention there. I realized there was an echo on the video, so apologies. I think we had two microphones open, but we'll be sending the slides afterwards, so you can take a deeper look, and the training materials will be available on our website as well. With that, now we head to the panel discussion portion of today. And the first question, I've done it in sort of an order, starts with Henry, and I've made it a little bit easier for everyone to have it here on the screen. So given that SAMHE integrates real-world data interaction through a web app, can you describe how this technological approach not only aids in monitoring, but also actively engages students and teachers in understanding and managing air quality?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to say is, at least in the UK, historically, air quality has not really been touched on as a subject at schools. It increasingly is, but even now, it's all focused on outdoor air quality. And I think it's really important that we start to teach the dual priority. You know, we're in no means saying outdoor air pollution is any sense less important. It's just that indoor air quality is also important. And I think pupils, particularly being able to see graphs and plots of something that they cannot physically see. They can't see in the air whether carbon dioxide is high or particulate matter is high, but they can do things and change it. So we have activities where they jump up and down in the classroom, then they leave and they open the window and they can see the change, and then they know that they've made that change in their own environment. And I think that, you know, it's also true to teachers. It will, I hope, become as much a part of a teacher coming in and thinking, oh, is the light level right for me to be able to educate these kids? Is the air quality sufficiently good for me to ensure that these kids are learning as well as they could? And I think that's something that teachers can't always change, just like light. They can't always, you know, block out the sun or whatever, right? But they can, you know, they can do things to help.
I really like that. I really like the idea of empowering the educators and children, and that there's some agency there. And I think that's something really beautiful to highlight. I'm going to push ahead and we're going to be coming back to Henry in just a second. But now we're going to be heading to Ernesto. How important is it, Ernesto, we can't see you, now we can. How important is it to involve stakeholders from schools in decision-making and policy-making processes regarding indoor air quality in educational settings? Oh, Ernesto, I'm so sorry. We can't.
Sorry. It's really important because of course we can go with our equipment and make measurements and give recommendations in general, but we have to listen to them and to be able to communicate and understand their needs. One thing that is very common is that researchers, engineers, scientists, we speak in a language that only experts understand. So we have to listen to the experts that are in the field with the children, taking actions, feeling the problems in order for us to adjust and bring the best solutions. If we don't listen to them and we said, oh, okay, you have to filter the air every time you reach this and that amount of whatever compound you want. If we don't listen to them and we don't understand how we can disturb the classroom with the equipment we are suggesting or with the actions we are suggesting, they will just say, okay, these guys have no idea what we are dealing with and put us on the side. So it's really important to listen to them. It's really important to communicate to them in terms that are very easy to understand. And also in this way, we can move forward to find the better solutions. And maybe something that might look very sophisticated or very complex from our side. Once we have the conversation, we may get to the point that, oh, we don't need that much technology for this and that, only for this other part. So it's very important to always be involved. And of course, we need the decision takers to listen to us, because if we communicate very well with the schools, with the teachers and the parents of the children and so on, but the decision takers are not taking the right actions, then it's useless.
Thank you very much, Ernesto. I really like the importance of the right messaging to policymakers and decision makers. I'm sure I'm seeing a lot of already questions coming in on that point as well, so I'm sure we'll be revisiting the topic there. Now I'm pushing ahead to Jessica. Jessica, how do you anticipate the course contributing to increased awareness and understanding of indoor air quality among students and educators?
The course is anticipated to be a key tool for increasing awareness and understanding of indoor air quality among both students and educators. First, teachers' capabilities will be enhanced through comprehensive guides and detailed lessons plans that equip educators with the necessary tools and confidence to teach indoor air quality topics effectively. For students, the early introductions of air quality concepts build on a strong foundation of understanding. As they progress through different educational levels, their knowledge deepens, ensuring a comprehensive grasp of the subjects. The learning materials, such as the workbooks and videos, are designed to be appropriate and engaging, making complex indoor air quality concepts to accessible and interesting. Practical activities provide hands-on learning experience, such as building a HEPA filter or conducting air quality measurements. These activities not only reinforce theoretical knowledge, but also develop practical skills and critical thinking. Another more important thing is the community and parental engagement is also a crucial aspect. As a student learn about indoor air quality, they are encouraged to share their knowledge with family members and the community, extending the course impact beyond the classrooms. Organizes schools events and projects aimed to raising indoor air quality awareness can involve the broader community, fostering a collective effort to improve indoor air quality. The course also promotes significant health and academic benefits by understanding the importance of indoor air quality. A school can implement measures to improve indoor air quality, leading to healthier classrooms. It can reduce absenteeism due to respiratory issues and enhance overall students' well-being and academic performance. Moreover, education students about indoor air quality from a young age instills lifelong habits and attitudes towards maintaining good air quality both indoors and outdoors. Finally, motivation and recognition play an important role. Recognizing student effort with a certificate of participation motivates them to continue their learning journey and take pride in their knowledge to contribution to indoor air quality improvements. That's all.
No, I like the motivation at the end. I think that was one of the most beautiful parts of the training courses that will have a certificate for children on indoor air quality and what they've learned, sort of adding to this new knowledge and the idea that knowledge is power. Now we're heading back to Henry. Henry, looking beyond the current scope of the project, are there plans to expand SAMHE's reach to more schools or to include additional environmental parameters? What are the long-term goals of the project in terms of educational and environmental impact, therefore? Sorry, Henry, your microphone.
Thanks. This initial wave of SAMHE has really been sort of establish the methodology and the protocols for this route of engagement with schools and gathering data. But as the name suggests, it's always been inspired by sort of improving health and education. We actually have sort of projects in the pipeline to do both. And we actually have a lot of projects also trying to link these air quality measurements to sort of sustainability focused improvements in schools. I think, you know, I think in terms of environmental and educational impact, I think we still have these two routes open to us. One is through sort of direct research and gathering information and taking that to policymakers, and the other is sort of the less direct route, or the less tangible route from a research perspective, and that's by putting information and knowledge and understanding in the hands of schools and actually pupils as they move forward and become, you know, our future leaders.
I think that was really important as well, the last comment, right? They're the next generation. If we don't instill this in them, who are we going to instill it in, right? I mean, they are the ones who are going to have to carry on the work. They are the ones who are going to have to carry on the improvements. So, no, I think that that's something essential. So I think that was a really excellent point. Thank you for making that point, Henry. I'm pushing now to Ernesto here. Ernesto, what role do you see technology playing in monitoring and improving indoor air quality in schools, particularly in terms of accessibility and affordability for educational institutions?
Well, that's a very important question. When we develop new technology, everything is very expensive because you are using things that are hard to get, doesn't exist. But the idea is to find the most reliable ways of measuring, developing sensors or adapting already existing sensors in order to have real-time evaluations. And the aim we have in Learn, and I think other groups are doing similar things, is to couple these sensors to already existing very good technologies for cleaning the air filtration and so on, or ways of opening and closing windows without having to take decisions. The sensor gives a signal and then it triggers a decision. So we are heading in that direction. How easy it will be to implement this, that's another layer of complexity. Of course, we aim to develop the best possible things, or maybe we can benchmark already existing technologies with much better and accurate measurements and make adjustments and make ways of correlating measurements that are already available with things that are much more sophisticated. This is a thing that will have an implementation in the mid to long term. I mean, in the little amount of schools we are handling, we will have a direct impact during the time of the projects. But to have an impact in the entire community, in the entire Europe, it will take some years. And of course, we should aim to facilitate the cheapest, but at the same time, strongest technology in order to help to improve the air quality for the children.
Thank you very much, Ernesto. I really like the point about the short, the medium, and the long term. And obviously, the technological component is essential. So I'm very excited to learn more about the LEARN project there after this call, and now, or rather webinar. And now I'm pushing on to my colleague and friend, Jessica. So Jessica, are there any innovative teaching methods or resources being integrated into the course curriculum to engage students effectively?
This course curriculum integrates several innovative teaching methods and resources designed to engage students effectively and enhance their learning experience. Key components include interactive digital platforms. We feature online modules and quizzes that allow students to learn at their own pace and assess their understanding in a fun way. This digital resource will include multimedia elements such as animation and interactive diagrams, making complex indoor air quality concepts more accessible. Additional gamifications can be incorporated into the curricula through elements like badges, leaderboards, and challenges, motivating students to engage more deeply with the content and track their progress. Multimedia educational resources also play a crucial role. Short, engaging educational videos explain key indoor air quality concepts and demonstrate experiments and real-world applications. Collaborative learning is fostered through group projects and classroom discussions, promoting peer-to-peer learning and critical thinking. Students work together to solve problems, share ideas, and present their findings, improving their communications and teamwork skills. Moreover, role-playing scenario where students take on roles such as environmental scientists, policymakers, or community leaders to solve indoor air quality-related problems help students to understand different perspectives and the complexity of the real-world problem solving. Finally, integrate learning approach are adopted where various materials can be integrated into different subjects, connecting indoor air quality concept with the subjects like science, health, environment, student, and technology. This interdisciplinary approach helps students see the relevance of indoor air quality in various contexts and promote the holistic understanding. Project-based learning is used to have students investigate indoor air quality issues in their schools and communities, develop solutions, and present their findings, fostering in a deep exploration and practical application of knowledge. Thank you.
I really appreciate the point about the community engagement as well. I think when you ask students, you ask people to really take part in their community, it empowers them, right? And it really brings it forward. So I very much enjoyed that point. Now, finally, we go to the question and answer portion. So now you can have your say. I've seen we have a lot of questions on the chat. So just one moment here as I find the questions. Just bear with me. Okay, so first question is for Henry. How has the collaboration between the project and the schools been?
I think it's not a challenge that people should underestimate. It's an enormous amount of work, and I actually think, as scientists, as well, I'm a physical scientist. As a physical scientist, I am ill-equipped to do it, however much I don't like to admit that. So we work a lot with citizen science, social scientists with sort of citizen science and behavioral science to really understand what schools are, how to interact with schools in the right way to try and engender a long-term relationship. But it's something that I have never spent my time learning about or thinking about, and I have to sort of recognize that I'm not good at it, and that's why I work with you know, we're a very multidisciplinary team for that very reason.
I mean, the number of schools is like 1,328 is no small number. So I think that's one of the biggest things to say as well. I think the scale is very massive. So I'm going to push ahead. There's a few more for you, Henry, but we'll come back to you. We'll give everyone a chance. And we'll go to Ernesto. Ernesto, since when have these measures been implemented and in which countries are they being carried out? Has commented on countries such as Belgium, Denmark, and Greece. Is this contemplated in any country? So what are the countries that are involved? What are the pilot countries? Oh, Ernesto, I'm so sorry, your microphone.
After 4 years, we keep doing this. The measurements are going to be done in Belgium, Denmark, and Greece. Currently, we are working only in Belgium, where the first pilots were run, and now we are moving to phase 2. In the fall, we will run the pilots and so on in Denmark, and then in the next winter, spring in Greece. We don't aim to do measurements in other countries. It's impossible. We have a limited amount of budget. Despite the budget is good, we can do only a certain amount of things. We did start in the winter. I think we started in November, in the fall of 2023, with the first implementation, basically to test what were the best places in the classrooms to place the monitors. And then in recent months, we have been doing a real campaign, not only measuring the air quality, but also collecting samples from the children, urine and blood, and also doing the cognition tests. So this is the ongoing thing, and for sure, if we show that this is a good intervention, we may expand the project in the future if we get funds to do measurements in other places.
Hopefully, that will be extending the work of the ILEAL cluster. Very much in agreement with you there. I'm going to push to now Jessica, and I think this is an interesting one. I mean, they are asking whether material is available. I will say that I still think at this stage it's not available. Maybe Jessica will correct me. And will it be offered in other languages? So Jessica, is the material available on the website? I think not. And is the plan to offer it in other languages?
The education materials are not currently available, but it will be available in Spanish, English, and another language of the consortium, like Croatian, German, Danish, Italian, and others. The goal is to make this resource accessible to wide audience, ensuring the students for various linguistics backgrounds can benefit from the educational content. It will be available in the website of EDIAQI and in the wiki of EDIAQI. At the present, there are 2 booklets available. The first for primary school children, and the other one for secondary school, for the secondary school student, aged between 13 and 16 years.
Thank you. We have also a wiki, which we should advertise. So I think it's up online, so you can check out the EDIAQI wiki, where we try to empower people with knowledge as well, that Jessica is also working on. So these are very linked things as well. And obviously it will be all open source. Henry, I'm now pushing back to you. can you share your experience with collaborating with schools? What things have you learned? So I guess this kind of builds from the last question. So what are the lessons learned from collaborating with schools, and what things have you learned from them in terms of the web app in particular? Oh, I'm so sorry, Henry. You microphone.
Yeah, sorry, I must have misclicked. So I think much like what it sounds like you're about to publish an EDIAQI, it's the realization that a very small fraction of teachers will actually be interested in air quality for air quality's sake. You have to engage with them as a sort of for them to see it as a part of education and learning. But I think that's something we can really do, because actually it's a very easy way to collect data which school children can analyze in any sort of, from maths to geography, etc., about their environment in a way that's actually very easy compared to gathering other data sets, for example. So I think one is to really understand what teachers want and might use, and then then I think the challenge is then to blend that into something that also delivers research information as well. And so one of the things that we heard from teachers was that a number of them were keen to, they either were running science clubs and were very keen to have air quality as a core theme in that, or they were keen to set up an air quality focused club for schools. And so, when you see opportunities like that, you can then think about, well, what can we encourage them to do in those clubs that would also give us useful information for research.
I really think there's also this idea now you're saying, kind of like, how do we turn the evidence into policy or into decisions or into different things? I think that's a really critical point from those lessons learned. I'm going to push us now to Ernesto. Ernesto, what is the source of the list on the air pollution side effects by age slide? Where did you get that information? Is that information available? So what's the source of that information for those side effects? What do we kind of know already? And maybe kind of what are the unknowns there as well, I guess is kind of the question.
Well, there is a very big body of evidence that provides very hard information regarding this. I took this image from a website. I will put it right now in the chat. So where I found this specific image, where you can see what are the main effects that have been linked to health. This is just a very brief summary of the effects that has been described. And of course, some of them are very, very well characterized, and some of them are rising, and there are others that are not listed here. So this is just an image to give a very quick overview, and I found this, and I like the girl raising the hand. So that's basically what I chose it because it has a very good summary of the effects related to air pollutants. But of course, the sources are a very big body of evidence that you can find in different journals.
An interesting question now, which really kind of touches on COVID. If you look at all of our projects, at least in the ideal cluster, a lot of them talk about COVID, right? And that I think a lot of funding went towards indoor air quality, obviously with the context of COVID and what it meant kind of indoors. So I do think this is quite an important question. How do we deal with the tendency of I think what they mean to say is to ignore the importance of clean air because of the idea that the pandemic is over. And she mentions Protect the Kids, which she's active in Germany, which realizes that the problem is, it's a big problem with policymakers as well with the public, not to look in sort of any of these problems. So maybe the question is, do you think there's going to be sort of, it's going to subside in the background now? And this is a question to everybody. Do you think now that, let's say, the COVID pandemic is over, so to speak, that now indoor air quality is not going to be given the importance that it should be given? So I'll start with Jessica, as she's next on the list. So Jessica, what's your thought there?
I think that this problem is more the pandemic. It has a lot of issues about different breathing problems and cancer and other issues related, that not only with virus, COVID, this and other more parameters can be affect to our health. For example, particulate matter, total volatile organic compounds, and different aerobiological element that existed before the COVID. And I think that this kind of projects are very important for all of issues, not only for the COVID.
And
You got muted, Alex.
oh, I said, Henry, I'll come to you. I'll throw the question to you there. I was very quick. I was like,
Okay.
Henry, the floor is yours.
Well, what can I say? So, the SAMHE initiative was actually part of a second wave of funding related COVID in the UK. So, you know, one thing to say is that SAMHE would have been much harder to happen if the pandemic hadn't have happened. But we very deliberately do not put the pandemic at the center of our efforts. I think you know, COVID is not over. COVID is a very serious disease which is spread by respiratory aerosols, and it will be with us ongoing. That's a fact. But we also have other very serious diseases which we have lived with a long time that are spread by respiratory illness. You know, the number of deaths associated with influenza every year are very significant. So, so COVID has changed things, but for those of us who've been working in indoor air quality, we have been aware of all of these issues, and it's not just issues associated with, you know, as Ernesto was pointing out, the acute implications like transmission of infectious disease. Indoor air quality is also important for you know, really serious chronic health conditions. The trouble is we don't have the evidence as to the true extent of that, and we, you know, that's, I think, what the indoor air quality research community has long worked on and will continue to work on. And I think the public awareness about indoor air quality is going to help us do that enormously. I think if we had have tried to get so many teachers interested in indoor air quality before the pandemic in the UK, we would have struggled. And I think there's a greater appreciation of facts that have always been there, that indoor air quality is important.
And now I'm going to push to Ernesto there. I think that was a very important point, though, Henry, about that the COVID is still there, still exists, and it's still very serious, and it's something we should be considered. And maybe it was a vehicle towards indoor air quality, more indoor air quality monitoring, and a re-emphasis on it, on the importance. So I really like that kind of balance right there, and I think it's an important balance that you've kind of explained there. Ernesto, heading to you now, what are your thoughts on that point?
Well, of course, I'm biased because I have been devoted my entire career to air quality and health. So to me, this central, no matter if there is COVID, the influenza, or whatever, I think this is something that we have to address and keep pushing. The problem with these kind of things is that the basal level of things make things to become common, and people don't talk about this. So the pandemics brought the attention to many things, not only indoor air quality, but many other things, because it was an urgency. But every year, 7 million people died due to air-related conditions. And of all those 7 million, almost half is due to bad indoor air quality. And most of them are related to people cooking and heating their homes in very poor countries with devices that doesn't take out the smoke and the particles. So the problem is there. The problem will be there. And of course, rich countries like the countries from the European Union and the UK, the problem is rather low in comparison to what happens in other very poor places. So we have let's say the benefit to pay attention to what's happening in children's classrooms in rich countries. But if you look outside of our bubble and we take a look to less privileged places, children are exposed to very, very nasty things. So we have to keep pushing in order to improve the air quality of our children, because of course we pay taxes here, and we want our taxes to improve the health of our children and have less burden in 20, 30, 40, 50 years in the health system once our children grew. But also with these actions, I think we aim also to drag less, less privileged places in order to take actions and try to close the gap. So this will remain there, and we have to keep talking about this, no matter if there are pandemics or not, because pandemics brought the attention to something that is very acute. And luckily, most of the people that get COVID doesn't die, and a significant fraction have the long COVID, which is a nasty thing to deal with. But if you put that on the side, 7 million people died every year due to bad air quality conditions. So we have to keep pushing. We have to keep talking, and yeah, I will do this all for the rest of my career. I'm sure of that.
We might have another webinar theme, which might be looking at inequalities next time. So I think that was a very excellent point and one to finish on for today. Thank you so much, Ernesto. Thank you so much, Henry. Thank you so much, Jessica. So just going into my presenter mode here, if you'd like to follow the Learn project or SAMHE projects. So first, I want to say thank you all for your active participation and insightful contributions in today's webinar. This marks not the end, but rather just the beginning in our ongoing discussion on this crucial topic. Keep an eye out for our upcoming webinar series. The next is scheduled for October, and we promise it will be just as engaging. We encourage you to become a part of our vibrant community by joining the EDIAQI project and the Ideal Cluster, along with our various other initiatives, as you saw before. For seamless updates and information, please scan the QR codes displayed to follow our LinkedIn pages and to explore the websites of the EDIAQI project and the Ideal Cluster. This is the EDIAQI project. This is the Ideal Cluster, or rather, sorry, that was the Ideal Cluster. This is the EDIAQI project. And thank you all so much. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our panelists for their invaluable perspectives, and to you, our audience, for the engaging discussion that brought this event to life. And with that, we conclude. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you, Alex, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.